on those cases as well. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present if you cannot afford one. One will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 31st, 2025.
Giving a fake name while being a fugitive. That's like trying to hide in plain sight. With a neon sign, Class A misdemeanor unlocked. But what would you have done in his shoes? Stay or sprint?
The officer observed the defendant's vehicle run a red signal light at the 3400 block of Live Oak Street in Harris County, Texas. The officer further observed the vehicle completely failed to stop at a red signal light and activated his emergency equipment and conducted a traffic stop. The officer made contact with the defendant, who was observed to be behind the driver's seat of the vehicle, and the defendant stated that he does not have his identification card with him, and the defendant gave a fictitious name of Fisher Leroy with date of birth January 1st, 2006. The officer ran the name through NCIC and found a DPS picture that does not remotely resemble the defendant. The defendant was asked if he was given the correct information, and the officer walked back to his patrol vehicle to double check, and the officer then observed the defendant exit the vehicle and sprint away despite giving him orders to stop. The officer ran after the defendant and observed the defendant get into another vehicle, the passenger side. The other vehicle drove away, and the officer gave the last direction of travel over the radio, but was not able to locate the vehicle. The officer walked back to the defendant's vehicle, secured it, and conducted an inventory check, finding a debit card inside with the name Kendrick Davis. The officer ran the name through NCIC and found a hit with a date of birth of 2/10/2003 with multiple Class C warrants, and ran a driver's license check with the defendant's picture and with date of birth. The DPS picture matched the defendant, and he was able to positively ID. And that's it, Your Honor.
So I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward on both of your cases. The reason I'm bringing you out now is because there's no bond that's set on your cases, and we have to set you a bond. One of the things that I use to determine on what to set a bond is how dangerous you are, because I've never met you before. I don't know you. And all I know is that you've got a birthday in 5 days. So he's on bond for an aggravated robbery now, right?
Yes, Judge. It's my understanding, I think it was a 2B, it looks like. I don't believe bond conditions and everything were put in place until a few days ago.
Okay. So the charging instrument was filed November 13th of 2024. I think that you may well be right. In that case, it says here, a Kendrick Richard Davis hereinafter saw the defendant heretofore on or about August 12th, 2024, did then and there unlawfully while in the course of committing a theft of property owned by yada, 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 with intent to obtain and maintain control, intentionally and knowingly cause bodily injury to the complaining witness by using and exhibiting a deadly weapon, namely a firearm. Complainant McSweeney advised that defendant Davis proceeded to pull a pistol from his waistband and pistol whip him with it multiple times on his head and face area, causing multiple cuts and bruises to his head and face area.
This isn't just robbery. It's violence. With a weapon, pistol whipping, stomping, multiple injuries. This part of the story, it changes everything. Do you think this should influence bond decisions?
As he proceeded to fall down on the ground, he continued to strike him in the head and face area with a closed fist and then stomp on his face with his foot. Complainant McSweeney stated that he was in fear for his life and felt severe head pain as a result of the assault. I see that he has also picked up an evading arrest in a motor vehicle the day after our two cases. How? Oh, I guess that's how they caught up to him, right?
They must have him, they found him, and that's when they arrested him on that, and then he got picked up on me, I believe.
Okay, so what happened in that case? Is he like driving 100 miles an hour? Is he just?
Yes, Judge. It says that the officer observed the defendant conduct an improper turn and failed to turn into the correct designated lane. They activated their lights and sirens, and the defendant evaded at speeds of 90 to 115 miles per hour for 3.5 miles on the highways and multiple residential and business streets.
Okay. I think that you are an extreme danger to our public and I'm going to do everything in my power to protect our public. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to order you not to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. I don't give a rat's behind what is going on in your life. I don't care if there's a burning building. You have to say 50 kittens. If I find that you drive, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months of jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car and drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm also putting in this affidavit that you're not supposed to be in possession of any weapons as well. If I find that you have a weapon, because I don't know if you're going to get out or not, and because these cases, because of the nature of the aggravated robbery, because of the nature of this one, I'm making his bonds high, you know? I'm going to set them at 20,000 each.
So can I make an argument? for-
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
you,
I
Judge.
don't want to get ahead of myself, please. Yes.
So I was appointed to Mr. Davis this morning. I was able to talk to him a little bit in the holdover. We are requesting PR bonds for both of the cases. He's 22 years old. He's lived in, or I'm sorry, 21 years old. He's lived in Houston his whole life. He has a lot of family in Houston. His grandparents, mom, daughter, and siblings. Prior to being in custody, he was working at Builders First Source for around a month. Mr. Davis also lives with his
Here comes the defense. Young, broke, a caretaker for his sick grandfather. It's the human side of the courtroom. But should that outweigh the public danger and flight risk? You decide. Comment below.
grandfather who has cancer. Mr. Davis is his caretaker, is my understanding. Mr. Davis has no savings and was found to be indigent by the court, so we are requesting a PR bond.
I think that he is an absolute, just a complete danger to our public. I can't possibly give him a PR bond due to the nature of both of the charges that you are facing now. I think that you're a flight risk. You've done everything in your power to evade capture. You've produced false names. So I find by clear and convincing evidence that you're an extreme flight risk. You're a danger to our community. And I'm going to set your bonds each at $20,000. I don't know if you're going to be able to post bonds, but if you do, I'm going to order you under house arrest if you do get out. And I'm going to order you to obtain a GPS monitor on your ankle. Like I said, you will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not to be in possession of any weapons and not to drive any vehicle whatsoever for any reason. If you do, I can have a contempt hearing. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
The felonies are set for April 7th. I don't like to set them out too far just in case. If you want to, we can do up to 30 days. It's up to you.
That's perfect.
And then we'll come back. I don't know. We'll see what circumstances have changed, and then we'll go from there and just keep us in the loop.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I need you to sign this for me. I need him to sign bond conditions with Fleischer, and then after that, just bring it done.